Hello, Canucks fans. My name is Chris Faber, and welcome back to another episode of the Canucks Insider Podcast. Our guest this week is a 2025 Calder Cup champion who is off to a hot start in the NHL this year. Max Sasson is our guest today on the podcast. Welcome back, Max. We're happy to have you back on the podcast here. Last time you were on, it was you and the GM, so a little bit different this week. How you doing down there?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on. I think my third appearance, so this is exciting stuff.
I think it gives you the lead now compared to everyone else. We've had a couple of guys who've been on twice, but like you're officially
I
the
was gonna
guy.
say three times seems it seems like not many. I mean, this podcast hasn't been going on for only what? How old is this? 8 months? A
Yeah,
year?
it's
Right?
not been a long time. Like they're gonna start talking about a co-host here, and they're gonna start saying Max Sasson, Max Sasson. He's coming in. Max, excited to get you back on the podcast though. And I was listening back to the other two that we were on, and we had you on, and I never started with like going way back. So since we're doing a podcast here, I want to take this way back to growing up, little Max Sasson in Michigan. Talk me through what made you fall in love with the game of hockey? Was it somebody? Was it something? Like, what was it like growing up and just being a kid that was playing hockey and loving
Yeah. I mean, I think my whole family was pretty big sports fans, especially my dad. Um, Hockey was not really his sport, but when I was born, he started playing in a beer league with all his buddies, and yeah, so he put me and my brother into hockey, and he actually ended up falling in love with it too, and becoming like the president of our minor hockey association when I was super young, and I played golf and basketball and soccer and baseball. And, I kind of just fell in love with hockey. And, probably since I was 7, 8 years old, all I can remember is going to the rink with my dad, my brother, and, just loving being around the rink, learning. And, honestly, like I fell in love with it probably because of the camaraderie of just being with your buddies all the time. And, like the pizza parties after games when we were young, and um, just all of that. And then, as I grew up, I got more and more into it and started focusing on, my regimen and how to get better and stuff. But yeah, I think I ultimately fell in love with it at the start just because of being around your buddies and how fun it was to compete with them.
That's awesome. What kind of player was your dad in that beer league? Does he ever describe the type of player he was?
I would remember I went to a couple of them. They would always be at like 12 o'clock in the middle of Detroit. So, um, scrappy probably. Not the most skilled, maybe a smart hockey IQ. I honestly am not really sure what his game was. However, a lot of beers in the locker room after.
Yeah. No, I remember growing up and like having my friend's dad just like come back from, we'd be walking to the door at like 12:30 at night and he's got a bloody nose every time. I'm like, these guys back in the day in the beer leagues, man, it was something.
Yeah, it really was. He would go to like tournaments and stuff in like Toronto. I remember that. And, they had like a whole thing. So, um, yeah, that's not much hockey background from my family, but that was what it was for the time being.
You mentioned your dad, and just kind of when I was going through to prepare for this, I did come across a photo of when you guys won the Calder Cup and you're banging on the glass and your dad's banging on the other side. How much fun did he have during that Calder Cup run? Because I remember seeing him at a couple of games in Abbey. It looked like he was having a great time throughout that run.
Yeah, I think you could ask some of the other guys that were on the team. I think you would have thought he scored the game winner in overtime. The way he was partying at the after party and stuff. And no, I mean, it was just such a special moment. I was looking around for him, and then ultimately I see him right on the glass, of course, and he's going crazy before they would let him on the ice. And yeah, it was just such a special photo. And actually, he had a birthday party, and there was multiple people that got him that picture framed. So now he has like 4 of them. Um,
That's awesome.
but yeah, he had a ton of fun, and he came to almost every series, at least a game or two. So, he was living the dream too.
What was it like for all you guys during that Calder Cup run to have your parents around? Because I saw a lot of them, met a lot of them, just kind of like, especially the Abbotsford Center. What did it mean for you guys as, young adults to have your parents get a chance to experience all that with you guys?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, especially, there was so many of them in Abbey on that game 5 expecting us to win. And the amount of parents that ultimately got on a flight and found a way to Charlotte, and for probably 36 hours later the game started. It was really just impressive and super super cool to see all the parents and family members and friends and girlfriends and wives that made it down there and watch us do something special. So obviously you don't get here alone, and they're just as much of a part of it as you, and they deserve to be, because they've supported you the whole way, and you need those people in your life.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to go back a little bit more again with you here. Western Michigan ends up being where you go for NCAA. Curious, because I think we've talked about this, maybe articles or stuff in the past, but I don't think we've done it on the podcast. What led you to Western Michigan, and what was it like about picking that as your school for a few years there for your college career?
Yeah. What led me there was, honestly, at the time, since I've committed there, the program has gone straight on an upward trajectory. And obviously they won the national championship last year, and so proud of the program. But at the time, it really wasn't as prominent of a school to go to. And, I didn't have a ton of offers, and, they came to me, Andy Murray, actually, the former coach, and pretty much said, if you come to Western Michigan, we're going to develop you into a pro hockey player. Like, that's what we do here. And no matter how good they've been over the past like 15, 20 years, the amount of good, solid pro hockey players in the NHL, AHL level, Europe, it's really incredible for a school that really recruits late bloomers and prides themselves on, not having, I think, my years, we had one draft pick each year, and we were a top 5 team in the country. So they pride themselves on finding late bloomers that have something to prove, and that was me. And I thought I fit the build to go to Kalamazoo and play in Western Michigan, and it worked out great. And I'm so thankful for my time there, Coach Furschweiler, the whole program. It was surreal, and memories that, me and my buddies from the times there still talk to this day, almost every day.
Yeah, and like that top line that you guys had there with you, Ryan McAllister, Jason Paul, and like to watch you guys play together, like there was talk like that was one of the best lines in the NCAA. And for you guys to come together at Western Michigan, like how cool was it to be a part of that with those two guys? And like you said, keep that relationship probably going today, because both of them are now having success at the pro level as well.
Yeah. We were obviously really, really special together. And it's great to see them. I saw Polsey a bunch when we'd play them in Colorado or in Abbey or whatever. And McAllister actually being on, he was hurt last year during the Calder Cup run, but he was on that Charlotte team, and I think he's off to a really good start, and I think Polsey is too. So, it was really cool the whole year, kind of the hype around our line, just because Western Michigan didn't, we don't get a ton of publicity or anything. And I think that line, there was a line in Minnesota with like Nyes, Cooley, and someone else, and to even be in the same category at the time with those guys was so special. And we are still really close to this day, and I always cheering for them.
So before we get to present day you in the NHL, did want to do one more thing about the AHL here, because I find it interesting just hearing some of the guys have quotes about this, about what they learned going throughout the AHL playoffs and going round by round and continuing to learn and develop. And when RJ was on, it was interesting because a guy at your age who's experienced some pro hockey and is trying to take that next step, like an off season can be huge. You can work out like crazy, put on muscle, you can come back bigger and stronger. But the thing that RJ brought up was like the experience that you guys got in the playoffs there is arguably better than, lifting weights as hard as you can for a good 2 months. So I'm curious to get it from your perspective. Like, what did you learn most about your game and how to take that next step from going through a playoff run with Abbotsford?
Yeah, I mean, RJ is 100% right. That's funny you said that, because I've been saying that for months now, that, the full summer of training is good, and but the experiences and the growth in our games, I think, all just went to another level with, learning how to play in those really, really high pressure situations, tight games, down a goal, up a goal, tied, double OT, these situations, you start to feel more comfortable in them. And, then fast forward to maybe this year, you're coming in to camp, and, my first year I was, shaking, could barely hold my stick at the training camp. And then now all of a sudden you start to feel more confidence in yourself and belief in yourself. Um, Obviously because of the hard work, but also because, you've experienced these really high pressure situations, and you start to kind of feed into the pressure of it and enjoy it. And, I was even saying, Bainsy and I were talking, even those 2 months in the summer that we did have, like, we missed that, that feeling of, everything matters. And, and at the NHL level, every single game, especially for a guy like me who's trying to make it, every little thing matters. Every shift matters, no matter if you play 6 minutes or 20 minutes. For me, like, everything matters. And I think that's how I am still learning, but getting better at it, of, how to cope with the anxiousness and the nerves and everything like that, and actually use it to help me and propel my game.
And it's interesting to watch. Like, I've watched a ton of AHL over the years, and I've seen a lot of skill that sticks out in that league. One of those skills that I've seen stick out is your speed, but you've been able to make that transfer to the NHL. So I'm curious how you've been able to kind of take your biggest strength, and a lot of guys who have that big strength in the AHL can't translate it to the NHL. How have you been able to accomplish using your speed? Because looking at your goals this year, a lot of them are coming off the rush, coming in with a lot of speed. How do you find it to be so transferable to the NHL using your best strength?
Wow. Well, thank you. I think, honestly, some of the confidence that my teammates have instilled in me too. I mean, I've always known that, I was fast, and, I liked having the puck on my stick. And, especially this year, it felt, coming in the locker room just before games and stuff, guys are hyping each other up. And, Ronick, Garland, these guys are telling me, like, fastest player on the ice, fastest player on the ice. And, I told Roni one time, but, that means the world to me. Like, hearing your teammates, have confidence in you to do it at the at the AHL level, it's one thing, but at the NHL level, to hear your teammates, tell you skate with the puck, like, try to beat people wide, like, this stuff really, helps. And, I think ultimately, the hard work that I put in, the track work, the explosiveness stuff, my skating coach, and then with, your teammates really believing in you, I think all of that has started to give me a lot of confidence to skate with the puck and want the puck, and use my speed.
So one thing I've noticed from doing this podcast for the 8 months or whatever we've been doing this thing for is a lot of parents will listen to this with their kids. So give me one thing that kids should do to be faster, Max, because a lot of them will watch you on TV and they're thinking, man, this guy can fly. What can the kids be doing out there at a young age to build on that speed?
I I do a lot of isometric work, which meaning, a lot of holds and then into sprints. You know, I I think flexibility, working on your hamstrings, both strength and flexibility wise. Um, and then obviously your skating technique. There's a lot. There's a lot. I wasn't always fast, so a lot of this stuff, is out there. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Your body angle is huge. The forward lean. And now I don't want to bore you with all of it, but it's yeah, if you're a kid watching with your parents or anything, I would say work on, I was quick, so I worked on getting quicker. I think working on what you're elite at and making yourself even better at it can only help. I'll probably never be the strongest guy in the weight room or anything like that, but I can be the fastest. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Love it. All right, parents can put the notepads down.
Yeah. Yeah.
You and your line, the line that you guys had in Abbotsford, so successful throughout the playoffs, and I heard one of you guys talked about it earlier in this year, 150 games type of thing. You guys developed so much chemistry over the time, and I even heard Lucas Reichel talking about this coming new to the team, and like, how do you develop chemistry? You just play, you talk, you know where each other are. You get to learn each other's tendencies. What's the best thing right now about you playing with Archie Bains and Linus Karlsson together just as a trio? What is the best thing about, that's giving you guys success at the NHL level?
Yeah, I think a lot of belief in each other is the number one thing. I think just how close we are as people. I think we talked about this yesterday, but we're so tight as friends. And on the ice, I think that can translate into obviously the chemistry and the 150 games and knowing what each other are, like that's massive. But I also think having relationships like we do off the ice can really help in a high pressure game setting where, maybe I mess up or maybe Bainsy messes up or whatever happens. And, we're not screaming at each other like, what are you doing? Because we know how good each other are. And it's not even something that needs to be discussed because we know, I know Bainsy will make that play 99 out of 100 times. I know, like myself, if I screw up, I know Carly and Bainsy know that, so we're never, ripping each other. And we're also mature enough to, talk about, what I can do better to help the line, what Carly can do better to help the line, what Bainsy, and, all of that combined, I think we've had some success, and I think, the best is yet to come.
And it's interesting as well, just with you guys all being such similar ages as well. Like you guys are at a point where you want to all take this step and be NHLers. So is the motivation there between you three? Have you guys talked about that at all? And like, this is the time right now where you guys are getting an opportunity to showcase that.
Yeah. Um, every single game, I think we all, know, and sometimes we do remind each other that, this is what we've been, dreaming of. I mean, look at the schedule that we have, and you could say, oh no, like, this is too many, like it's too hard. But at the end of the day, we talk about it all the time. Like you dreamed of this moment, and every single time you get to step on the NHL ice, is something you've been working for forever. So, never take a shift for granted, and keep pushing the pacing. Ultimately we want to just help the team, and I think we can give this team a lot of energy and a new look, and I think we like our matchup. Anytime we get another fourth line or third line out there, we think that we can win that matchup for our team.
Love it. Max, we'll wrap up with a couple of quick ones here. You're back up. You guys are on the road right now. Tell me your favorite city to travel to in the NHL.
I don't know if fans are gonna like this one, but Montreal is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, we were there for the draft a few years ago, like just awesome travel too. And we got it this summer.
Yeah, Chicago is a great one too. I really enjoyed Chicago, and not just because I scored
there. Love it. What's your essential item for a long plane trip? What do you need?
My sleep mask. I have a blue little silk sleep mask from Save-On, or maybe Shoppers. Shout out Shoppers. And I always put that on, and the guys make fun of me because it's like light baby blue, but you know what? I get good sleep.
Aside from jumping on a podcast, what's the first thing you do when you get to a hotel room?
That's a good question. I don't know. I usually lay out my suitcase and take a shower. I mean, usually in these NHL hotels, the showers are pretty nice. So
yeah, take advantage of that. Favorite way to kill a few hours, like between morning skate and the game, like aside from a nap, because I know that's going to be in there, but like, what's a good way to kill a few hours when you can't just sit in the hotel room the whole time?
Yeah, I usually call my parents, and it usually like calms me, and we don't really talk about the game or anything. We just talk about like whatever, how they're doing, and that usually calms me down before my nap, and I can and yeah, I think, I don't know, I hang out. No, I don't have a good answer for that, but yeah, I can make some calls.
Yeah, that's good. Totally parents good. Okay, final one here. Your Detroit Lions, 5-2 on the year. Losses to Green Bay and Kansas City, like not like sleeper teams. Those are good teams. I'll give you a minute here. You got the platform. What's the predictions for the Lions as they close out the season?
The schedule doesn't get easier. It's a hard schedule. Hopefully we got some rest on our bye week. I think hopefully guys are getting healthy. The defense, there's a lot of performers, good performers of of late of guys that weren't even on the team to start the year, which a guy like me can respect. And when they get the opportunity, and I think we just need to stay healthy, and when the playoffs come, when the lights get on, we perform.
How many touches do you think Gibbs deserves a game? Like after a couple weeks ago, that was every time he touches the ball, it seems like it's magic, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like Demon a lot too. So, if I know for the fantasy teams, people probably want Gibby to touch the ball a little more. But they have a system, and I think part of the reason that obviously Gibbs is incredible on his own, but he does get a little more rest than probably other RB1s. So that might help him if you think about it like that.
Yeah, all right, I love it. Great job, the Lions fans who are tuning into this randomly. Yeah, I love it. Max, thanks for hopping on third time on the podcast. Appreciate you taking the time, and we'll let you get off to the rest of the road trip here.
All right, sounds good. Chris.
Our guest today was selected in the 6th round of the 2024 NHL entry draft. He had 111 points and led the OHL in goals during the 2023-24 season. He is now on to another challenge in his hockey career as he tackles the NCAA with my Michigan State Spartans. Anthony Romani is our next guest on the Canucks Insider podcast. Pretty wild change for you, Anthony. What's it been like so far, just getting used to the NCAA a little bit here after a couple of years in the OHL?
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty crazy with the whole rule change that went on. I think it was pretty exciting and good news for myself to kind of have the opportunity to come here to NCAA. And I think the first few months here have been amazing. It's just a little different than the OHL. I think it a little more benefits more when it comes to off-ice training and just being able to get stronger in the gym, and then also just playing against older competition. I think it's a good step for myself and my development.
I have to imagine, I think it's been a conversation in a lot of hockey chats about this, just the NCAA, what kind of facilities you guys have compared to some of these junior teams. I know there's some great junior teams out there with great facilities, but the NCAA, what is it like having a training facility with the Michigan State Spartans?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy. I mean, we have pretty much anything you can ask for with our facilities, and I think it's great because we take advantage of them every day. Our coach always kind of tells them it's you got to kind of earn the facilities. It's a privilege to have them. So I think every day we kind of use them to work and better ourselves each day in the gym, whether that's in the gym, the hot tub, or all the other things we have as well.
Yeah, all that sounds pretty good. Making the decision to go to the NCAA, you had a ton of success in the OHL. Walk me through kind of how that started when you started to really think about the NCAA being a possibility, and how you kind of got to land on Michigan State.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing happened pretty quick. But when that rule change kind of happened, that was right about the time where last year I broke my collarbone, was out for 3 months. So I think it was a little easier to kind of focus on the decision making, and because I didn't have too much to worry about on the ice. So when that whole thing happened, I mean, I was talking to my agent a lot about it, and I mean, everything kind of just seemed like it was the right path for myself. I mean, there's fewer games. You can kind of focus more on development, getting stronger, and kind of being ready for a pro game. And then also as well, just the older players. Every game's means that much more in the NCAA. I'd say it's more playoff hockey when you're only playing 30 games compared to 68 in the OHL. So I think that was a big thing. And then being injured, I was able to tour a few schools. And I think when I came to Michigan State, I think everything about it kind of just screamed that this was the place for myself. The development, the coaches, the trainers off the ice. I think it was kind of just a perfect fit for myself, and I think it was the best opportunity for myself to get better.
When you were first touring it, was there one thing that stuck out during that tour where you're like, damn, it could be a piece of the facility you're talking to anyone? Was there one thing that stuck out above the rest when you actually got a chance to see it?
Yeah, to be honest, I think it was the gym and the trainer, our off-ice trainer. I think he was super kind of dialed with what he had to say. Everything he said kind of aligned with what I want to work on, and he was really detailed on all that. And then also just the coaches. I think everything that the way they run the program is very professional, and I mean they're there for your development every day, and they'll put their 110 into us every day. So it's kind of the big thing for me.
Yeah, I know like a lot of young athletes, like their dream is to get to the NCAA, have a scholarship, go play hockey, football, basketball, whatever it is with these sports. For you, like, what's it been like kind of getting a chance to live that now for a few months? Your first little semester here as an NCAA student athlete, like, is it kind of what you expected or is it a little different? Like, how are you kind of dealing with these first few months here?
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty crazy. I mean, like you said, a lot of I think American kids kind of dream about coming to these NCAA D1 schools, but growing up in Ontario, you don't hear too much about it. It's more the OHL and that stuff. So I think everything's pretty new and fresh for myself, but it's been a great experience so far, just with the whole atmosphere, the student sections at the games, and just being able to go watch other games like the football games or the basketball games. It's been pretty fun and a cool experience.
Yeah. What's talk me through like a game day for a football game? Like, have you had a chance to experience one of those yet?
Yeah, we've been to probably 3 or 4 of their games so far. I mean, we get free tickets. I mean, you know it's game day. It's on campus because it's just filled with people tailgating before the game. Everyone's wearing green. It's a pretty cool experience. And even the home opener, we were able to go on the field because we won the Big Ten last year, or I didn't, but the team did. So we were kind of honored on the field, and it was pretty cool just to see the packed football stadium and just the whole student section, everyone in green and stuff. It was pretty cool.
Because like I'm sure you've probably seen this and I've seen it for sure. Like just seeing the atmosphere from a television has to be a lot different than being down there and experiencing this must be an unreal time to be actually in there and deal.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, there's just so much going on with fireworks and just, I don't know, just chants constantly going. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, you mentioned your guys as fans for hockey as well. Number one ranked team right now with Michigan State. What's it like being on this group right now and seeing what it's like seeing this team come together? Because I found it interesting, like looking at your guys' roster, and it's probably very different from your time in the OHL where, you know, you have an import player or two. Now there's guys from the Dove, there's guys from the OHL, there's guys from Sweden, Slovakia, Finland. Like, what's it like kind of getting all these guys together on a team and watching it blend together here at the start of the year?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. Like you said, you kind of have players from all over, so you kind of learn different things from different players. And I think like you said, we have a really good group. I think the most important part is everyone in our room kind of wants to win and wants to get better each day. So we're always kind of pushing each other, whether it's on the ice or in the gym. And I think it's kind of the environment you want to be surrounded by as players who are willing to get better. And then we have a lot of high end talent as well, so it's good to compete against them every day.
Yeah, and what's it been like for you? Because I remember talking to you before you actually started playing in the NCAA, like actually about this move, and a big thing for you was, you know, higher quality of competition playing in the NCAA against bigger and stronger guys. How have you felt so far, just going through, I guess, you know, a handful of games like that at the NCAA level?
Yeah, I think it's been good. It's like you said, I said before, it was just an older game. The players they're bigger, they're stronger. So I think just getting in like corners, it's a little different than the OHL with puck battles and stuff. But I think it's what I wanted to come into, and it's been great so far. And then also just like I said before, it's less games, so every game kind of feels like a playoff game because it means that much more for the standings um and conferences and stuff. So it's been good so far.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a historical season, right? For the NCAA with the first year of CHL guys. What does that mean to you to be a part of that? Like really all these CHL guys are funneling into the NCAA this year and not just, you know, random guys. Like there's some high end talent coming out of the CHL to play in the NCAA. What is it like to be one of those guys?
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I mean, a lot of the players on the team are kind of excited to see the change and stuff. And I think just trying to adapt to the different play style, different schedule and stuff. Like I said, we have a bye week this week, which I'm not really used to in the OHL and stuff. So I think there's definitely different changes that go into it. But I think just making sure that I'm doing my best, kind of representing the CHL well too, making the transition.
Yeah, I have to imagine. You mentioned the bye week, and then next weekend you guys are playing against Penn State, who's like top 5 ranked as well. What are your expectations for that, man? Like I know you've played in some big OHL games. I'm curious what your expectation is here for this massive NCAA.
Yeah, I mean it's I think I'm super excited for it. I think the whole team is it's a big game. It's our first Big Ten game in conference, so those always mean a little more. And then also just playing Penn State, they've kind of been a hyped up team going into the year. They have a really good team, a lot of high end players like Gavin McKenna, I'm sure everyone knows. So it's exciting to play them, and I mean it's going to be a packed building with them at our rink, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah. What's the coolest part about the student section so far that you found at your guys' home games?
I mean, yeah, they're just always they're always standing or chanting something. It's pretty cool. The atmosphere is awesome. You got the band in the back playing in between whistles and stuff, and then when we score, they're doing our fight song and stuff. So I mean, it's definitely different than the OHL kind of with the student section there, but it's been great so far.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, what's working well for you guys this group? Because man, played some good hockey to start the season here.
Yeah, I think just playing our game. I think we know we have a lot of skill and good players on our team, but I think it's just making sure we're playing as a team, playing hard. I think our goal and our coach always says going in each weekend we're just trying to perfect our game, and I think that's just what we're looking to do each game, whether that comes with a win as the outcome or not. But we're just trying to play right proper hockey every game.
Right on. How about yourself, just personally? How you feeling about your adjustments to this league and how your skills are kind of being able to be shown now at the NCAA level?
Yeah, I think it's been a good adjustment so far. Just being able to play against older and bigger players, just making sure you're winning your battles, just kind of adapting to that, as well as just a more defensive game, I feel like. So it's just making sure you're bearing down on your chances, getting pucks out, and just little things like that are a little different when you're playing against older players in kind of a more pro style game.
Right. With you having the shoulder injury last year, I'm curious what your off season was like this past summer. Like, how different was it? Was it different at all, or like did you try and address things a little bit differently? I'm just kind of curious, like going through a big injury like that, how that affects kind of your next summer of training.
Yeah, I think how I mean the shoulder injury happened I think October last year, so I kind of had to do a lot of rehab for that during the year, and then coming in the summer, it felt pretty much 100%. So I think I was able to kind of do everything, but then also just doing little things, more shoulder exercises and stuff. And also this summer, I was at Michigan State for 2 months of the summer training here. So I mean, we have a lot of the trainer here is amazing. He knows what he's doing, and I think that we address stuff like my shoulder injury and making sure just everything around it is as well as also getting stronger, just so something like that doesn't reoccur. But yeah, I think it's been great so far, and the trainer knows what he's doing here. So it's especially with all the facilities and the resources we have to use.
I was gonna say the trainer's getting a lot of good pub here in this interview so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you about your head coach, Adam Nightingale. Pretty good history in the NHL. Like he's been there and been a video coach at the NHL level. A lot of great experience I saw as well with USA and some national teams. What's he like as a head coach? And I'm wondering if he brings so much of that video coach kind of from his past into him being a head coach now.
Yeah, I mean he's a great coach. I think he's one of the best coaches I've had. He's really detailed with everything he does each day. He wants us to compete each day. He's easy to talk to as well. I mean, he's always kind of pulling guys aside, doing a video with them, or just talking to them on things to improve on. I think he's been a really great coach for me so far.
Yeah, I was just looking through his page, like his whole family. They seems like one of the biggest hockey families I've kind of seen with all his family involved.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about your draft day experience in 2024 when the Vancouver Canucks draft you. Like you were an overage guy, didn't get picked in the 2023 draft. Can you walk me through what that day was like in 2024? We can go back a year here.
Yeah. I mean, it was a pretty surreal moment. I don't remember too much of it. Just remember kind of waiting, saw Vancouver on the clock, and I knew that was kind of a team that had interest in me. And I just remember hearing from North Bay Battalion, and then that's kind of when I blacked out. And then I just remember going through everyone at the table shaking their hands, and then going through back rooms, taking pictures, and then just being able to see my family. It was nice to celebrate with them.
I have to imagine, like, I remember talking to you guys after that at development camp and just hearing about like that week right after. It must just start like as soon as you're picked, like you're doing something. It feels like for the next
Yeah.
like 7 days straight. Hey, well, how crazy was that? Looking back last year to just dive in and like go through that week of just getting drafted, go to Vancouver, dev camp, everything that rolled so fast. Like how crazy was that? Now that you can look back at that.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I mean, I think it was one of the craziest summers I've had for sure. It was just super busy. I mean, a lot of excitement and stuff, and I think just being able to be in Vegas for the draft and then go to Vancouver a day later, right after it was pretty cool, and just experience all that. It was amazing.
Wondering where you since that draft day. I'm curious. What do you think? What parts of your game do you think you've improved the most on?
Yeah, I think just my overall strength. I think that's kind of been a key thing to get to the next level, is to continue to get stronger, and then also just speed. I think it's a fast game in the NHL, so I mean, just working on things on and off the ice to get faster.
Yeah. What was it like having a development coach by your side last year as well from the Canucks? I think you dealt with Mike Komisarek mostly, right?
Yeah, him and Samuelson, those are the two that I talked to the most. They come down to my games, and even when I was injured, they would take me out to lunch or dinner, so that was pretty cool. And I mean, they've been great. They're always doing video with me or just talking to me about things I can improve or what I'm doing well.
It's awesome. How have for you, like when hockey's got to be taking up so much of your time? I'm curious what you do when you kind of turn off from hockey. What do you like to do down there in Michigan when you get away from the game a little bit?
I mean, kind of with this school thing, we've been having to do a lot of homework and stuff on that. So just doing that, and then just watching hockey as well. I mean, I like watching NHL games when they're on, or even basketball or football games as well.
Okay, so no off button, I guess, for you.
Not much.
Talk me through something from the summer. What was the highlight for you? And I guess you can't say anything involving the Canucks or hockey. Or give me something away from hockey in the summer that was a highlight for you.
Um, I mean, in the summer, I was here at Michigan State for 2 months, so I was doing a lot of golfing and stuff here. I mean, they have a lot of nice golf courses here. That was nice. We got to play a really nice golf course one time through our coaches, and I mean, they had an island green and everything. I mean, I love golfing, so it was pretty cool to see that.
Right on. What's the handicap?
Um, I'd say we're probably around an 8 right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's strong. That's strong. Is there
Yeah.
anybody on the team that you've talked to that's just a stick or what?
Yeah, we have a couple guys. We have one or two guys who are pretty close to scratch golfing, so it's always nice to go with golf with them, but you don't want to bet money when you're playing with them.
No, I feel like when you play with those guys and like it raises. I feel anyways when I play with some guys that are really good, like it always raises my game. So I
Oh
don't know
yeah,
how
I think
that happens.
you definitely want to, and don't want to look too bad in front of them and impress them a bit.
I think ultimately that's it. You just don't want to embarrass yourself out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Anthony, thanks so much for joining us on the pod. I know, enjoy your weekend off here. I guess it's going to be an interesting one for you guys. First one to experience for you in probably quite a few years. But then next week against Penn State, we're excited to see you guys match up. Massive game. You mentioned some of the stars involved in that game. Bunch of stars on your guys' team as well. And congrats with the start of the season that you guys have had so far with the Spartans. It's been fun to watch here from afar. And best of luck the rest of the year. Thanks for joining the pod.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.